Welcome back to the latest edition of the Word of the Week, brought to you by Mr. Bailey and the entire 3rd grade team of teachers and students.
Yes, welcome back everybody. Join us as we step into the Wayback Machine as we take a little bit of a field trip back in time. By the way, you may think that I look an awful lot like the father of our country, President George Washington.
And you may also be wondering why a grown man who looks exactly like President Abraham Lincoln talks like a little boy and knows karate. You are also probably wondering how Mr. Bailey could afford to hire 2 of the greatest presidents in the history of our great country.
The truth is, we usually charge an enormous fee to appear in these videos, but this week's circumstances are very special. The winning margin for this week's voting was the closest ever in the history of our show, with only 2 votes separating the first and second place words.
Fantastic, Georgie. Should we tell them the winning word now?
Hold your horses, Abe. Let's take them on that little trip back in time as we had promised earlier.
Oh boy. I love a good history lesson.
To start off today's show, I am going to challenge you to name each and every one of the words of the week up to this point in chronological order, starting with the first word and ending with the last word. Do you remember them all?
Of course I do. Don't be ridiculous, Georgie. By the way, didn't Tess give you that word?
Yes, she did. Now prove it.
Sure. Here goes nothing. From first to last. First off, we had quiescent, then boisterous, followed by cantankerous, phenomenal, ravenous, diligent, livid, impostor, preposterous, discombobulated, stupendous, gratitude, melancholy, flabbergasted, debacle, multitude, bamboozled, and finally procrastinate.
Wow. That was amazing except for one tiny thing.
What are you talking about?
You did a phenomenal job of saying all of the words in chronological order. But debacle was not one of the words of the week, remember? That is the word that Mr. Meyer hoped and begged for, but it did not win.
But it should have been. He was robbed. I demand a recount.
That is not going to happen, Abe. It's over. What's done is done.
I just know that Mr. Bailey and his students were up to their old shenanigans. Something smells awful fishy in here.
Did you just use the word shenanigans? That sure is a humdinger of a word. What does it mean?
You know exactly what the word shenanigans means. You are the father of our country, and one of the most well-respected presidents in the history of this great country. Don't play dumb. Shenanigans is just a really fun way to say that someone is taking part in funny business, playing dirty tricks, horsing around, monkey business, or playing a prank on someone. Exactly like Mr. Bailey did to Mr. Meyer.
You know good and well that Mr. Bailey would never do such a thing. You must have said it because that is the new word of the week, right?
Seriously, Georgie, I really think they were up to some shenanigans with that one. And by the way, the new word of the week was not shenanigans, it was...
Chronological. I think you are the one who is up to shenanigans. Be honest, Abe, you are not Abraham Lincoln, you were actually Mr. Meyer.
What did you just call me?
You heard me. You are an imposter. You just got that President Lincoln costume from your colossal closet of costumes, didn't you?
Alright. You got me this time. I was just trying to teach the class another second place bonus word, shenanigans.
That is okay. So to recap the show, The real word of the week is actually chronological, which means putting something in order, just like you listed every single word of the week in order earlier in the show.
By the way, I am not really sure that you are George Washington. You sure sound a lot like Mr. Bailey. Tell me the truth.
You cannot handle the truth. Just kidding. Alright, you got me. I am in fact Captain Word Nerd bringing you the latest edition of the Word of the Week. See you next Monday.